What's up, guys? It's Shaun with Varsity House Podcast. On this episode, we have Pro Bowl special teamer Justin Hardee from the New York Jets. We got a great episode, real deep episode for sure. It touched me. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, like, and comment, and we'll continue to provide great content.
And even, especially football, I feel like with the NBA, you can kind of be like more like buddy, friends with different players in the league and things like that. But obviously, we know football is a more physical game. And you play them throughout the season. It's probably a bunch of trash talk. It's probably, physicality and things like that. Each game means more to an NFL than the NBA. How was it, being around just the rest of the guys, not in a as competitive situation?
Man, it was crazy to be, around those high caliber guys and, just being fans of those guys because I watched those guys on TV. So just to be around those group of guys was definitely an honor. And I go and introduce myself and guys would be like, man, I know who you are. I respect your game too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a reason you're here and, it was a reason why I was there. So just to be, like I said, just to be ranked amongst the best, that's second to none and, something that we all work for. Especially you growing up as a kid. I grew up watching the Pro Bowl. Of course, the ultimate goal is the Super Bowl, and that's what I'm praying for. That's what I work for every single year. But, to be at the Pro Bowl is definitely an honor within itself.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at it as in the standpoint of, you talk about, Super Bowl as well, and it's going to be back in Vegas next year. But I definitely want to dive into, more so being, that guy now that people know that people, your name, when you bring your name up, people already know it and things like that. And I want to bring that up because, coming in on your third year, of the deal, and obviously, the work you put in is probably the same or even more. But I do want to ask you, like, because you named Pro Bowl and also you were, NFLPA All-Pro, things of that, does that, voice that in your head that drives you, that pushes you, does it ever get quieter?
No, because you missed one. I didn't get AP All-Pro. So that's what I'm going after. And it's, it's nothing like it was, Pro Bowl was a blessing. NFLPA first team was a blessing. But the one that, that everybody go off of is the AP All-Pro. That's something that I got to get. I proved, everybody right, but, it's still some people that I do, and not even that just to prove them, just to prove it to myself, because that's something I want for myself. That's a personal goal. So, as I'm going into this season probably even hungrier than, last. Like, sometimes I forget I even made the Pro Bowl just because I was itching to get something else and, I didn't get it. So it's just motivation for the next. And, I guess I'm glad God put me in this position because, like I said, I'm hungry. I could have got everything this past season and be like, oh, I'm going to double up. But that's not the case. It's something I got to go towards, and that's, I'm hungry for it.
Mm-hmm. And I want to bring it back all the way to Cleveland, Muni League, those type of days. And so because you look at it a point to where it's like, we'll get into it, but you talk about your career, played at Glenville, probably wasn't the most recruited out of your class, go to Illinois, the production, wasn't crazy, probably, wasn't, looked at by scouts as a highly touted, player coming out, and you get to the NFL, with the top of the, top tier talent. And now, looking back, 5 years later, you make the Pro Bowl. But I want to bring it all the way back to, Cleveland Muni League days, because obviously for people who aren't from Cleveland or who haven't, played in that system, in that structure, they might not understand, the competitiveness, the talent there. And so I definitely want to, touch on that and maybe how, playing back then influenced to, the hunger and the motivation you have now.
Yeah, man. There was always so much talent in Cleveland. Always so much talent in Cleveland, man. And always trying to be the best, always trying to win the championship, whether that was Muni League or whether that was Pop Warner, going to trying to win it in, the Nationals in Florida. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to win one in Florida with the National with Pop Warner, but I was able to win a championship with East Cleveland Chiefs Muni League. I believe it was like 05 midget team. it's fun, man, and it's crazy. Even that route to make it to the championship then was tough. You know, I just saw the DVD. It was me against Farrell Brown. You know what I'm saying? The Browns tight end, and it's crazy because me and him was, you know, I was the best person on my team, and he was the best person on his. And just to see that where we both ended up, both going into year 7, it's crazy. Like it was written, but you know we had no clue, obviously, playing as babies. But yeah, man, that route to just make it out of Cleveland and you know to make it to get to high school, you know, talent is crazy in high school, and that's all around Ohio. Like it's all type of talent. So it's glad I'm able to represent it.
Mm-hmm. And now, you know, after after Muni League, Pop Warner, and those things, you get to Glenville, and then also later again Academy, and you play there. Talk about you. I mean, you touched on the talent just in Cleveland and also Ohio, but also touch on just the teachings and I say teachings because it's like I mentioned earlier, you play on a team full of talent, full of 4 stars, 5 stars, and things like that, and you may not have been one. But you look at, a guy like Coach Ginn, or you look at just, other mentors around Cleveland that, might have pushed you in a different way to where you just kept your head on straight. You just kept going. Maybe it was, Coach Tone or, running track and things like that. But kind of just, touch on your high school experience, being around, a ton of talent, but not being that guy that was, highly sought after.
Yeah, man. I remember going, like, my freshman year at DeVille, it was like we was in the league. It was in a league of its own already because, like seniors, when I was a freshman, was like Travis Friedman, Mikey Edwards, Marcus Hall, you know what I'm saying, Jonathan Newsom. These are all dogs, all 4 guys, you know what I'm saying, who had some type of taste of the NFL. And then, like years after that, you got LaTwine Anderson, Christian Bryant, J-Ron Elliott, you know what I'm saying? And then right after that, you got Cardell Jones, Shane Wynn, Andre Walker, Frank Clark, Super Bowl champion. Then you got my class, and it's crazy because as you know what I'm saying, you see that lineage, you see nothing but crazy talent. Nothing but crazy talent. And I feel like just being around that much talent and me honestly not even playing until my senior year of high school, and I was very disappointed about it, just because I am so competitive. I felt like I should have been playing. When you see some of your friends get offers, you like, man, I want to get them too, just because it's just not necessarily hatred or anything like that, because I was happiest for my friends because they were trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't none of that. It was just a simple fact. I wanted it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I said, being around that type of talent and wanting it for myself, man, that pushed me to, get to where I was able to get a, scholarship to the University of Illinois. I remember after my junior year, that's when you get highly recruited. I had 3 highlights on my junior film, and I remember scouts used to come up to the school just because we had so many highly recruited guys. Devin Bogart, my brother, rest in peace. D'Angelo Bentley, New England's Patriot, coach right now. My boy Willie Henry, Alex Pace, Sean Draper. Like, these guys getting recruited. And I'm like, man, I know y'all getting the love and all that. Like, I want mine too. Like I said, I'm happy for them. But I remember, like it was yesterday, it was the NFL lockout. And Troy Smith and Ted Ginn Jr. was up at the field. And I didn't necessarily know them like that, like I do now. And Terrence Owens and Cordell Scott Sr. was up there. And me and my boy Devin Bogart, he used to play linebacker, but he could throw the ball. So I remember he used to get up with me on our off days and throw me the ball, and which got me together and just get me prepared for camping. But just me being there and seeing those guys there, it was like, wow, like college, NFL. Like that, to this day, I remember that day like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Being around those group of guys, and like I said, just seeing how those guys work. I remember Troy just throwing it up in the air, just throwing it. Ted so fast, just running up on there and catching it. And it was like all that Bump Taylor Field, man. And it was, and I live right down the street from there. Literally got up and, walked there. And like I said, being around that. And me putting in that work when nobody else was watching, nobody else was doing anything, I was able to have 5 offers, before I even started my senior year just because of camps. Because coaches said, like, you can run, but I need to see more. So once they was able to see more, just seeing my, my production and, seeing how much better I got just because I put in the work, man, was, truly a blessing.
Mm-hmm. And then also, I remember you from track. You was like, I mean, obviously Glenville track is known across the country, but I remember you every time I went to a track meet, it was blacked out jumpsuits, hood on, and then always it got to the 4x4, and that's where I remember you from. Was there ever a thought that you would have ran track in college?
Not necessarily. Cause I hated to love it. I couldn't stand track to this day. I feel like track led me to where I am because Glenville track coach again made it so hard to where you hated it, and to where you really only like it on the state day. When you a champion, and so I always felt guilty in my head just because I felt like I didn't work as hard as I could have or should have during track. And mind you, it's already hard as is. And, I'm sure I was pushing myself because I know me. But that guilt led me to work so much harder in college. Like, it led me to work so much harder in colleges because I'm like, man, I cheated myself. But when I got to everything else in my college workouts, they weren't as hard just because, Glenville track. And I thankful for it just because, like you said, I remember you during, track, you and Anthony Young, y'all was different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all was different on that track, man. And, like, just so much talent and being around that much talent, it has no choice but to push you. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? That just, I would say that pushed me.
Mm-hmm. And then you get to Illinois because, I mean, it's a similar situation. Obviously, I feel like you were playing early, though. You got on the field pretty early. And, I feel like the performance was there, but maybe the production wasn't there. Like you just weren't getting the rock as much as you probably wanted to. And I want to touch on just because nowadays you got the transfer portal and you got all those different things nowadays, and it's like a kid may get there, have these goals, get an opportunity, and it may not work for them. But you stuck it out and you did what, 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years there. And it's still like, it wasn't, because usually some people are like, oh yeah, I'm sticking out because I'm getting a production, I'm doing these things. And so for you, now hearing just, your background just from growing up, through Muni League, through Pop Warner, now through high school and through college, it makes sense on why, you stuck it out, why you kept working, why you, fought through it. But, for listeners out there and just maybe any kids that are in college right now or maybe headed to college, what were some things that, during that time just made you want to just continue to fight through it when you probably could have transferred somewhere else and, got off and did your thing and had the stats, had the numbers and doing those things, but you stuck it out to, stay at Illinois? What made you, choose that route?
I guess because I always believed in myself. And I say that to say, even though during the season, statistically, I probably didn't get exactly what I wanted. During the off season, man, I was working my ass off. Like, working, doing extra work, putting in extra work. And, even during the season, so I always felt like it was eventually going to be my time. And, I was in there, because I graduated early. So I was able to, I had online classes for my master's. So I was able to go in there when guys, doing class. In that class, I was able to go in there and put in extra work. And unfortunately, it didn't, work out for me statistically in college. If nobody else seen the work God did, and he led me to, a better place. And that better place is the NFL, and I'm, that's always a kid's dream. My route, just like probably just any other undrafted guy route, was different. I didn't know that like if I can go back 7 years from now or 6 years from now, I wouldn't necessarily guess that I would, be a Pro Bowler, a special teamer at that. You know what I'm saying? I thought I would have been, the next DeAndre Hopkins. Just because you always had those far dreams, but I feel like God always, has a plan. I remember when I did, get picked up by the Houston Texans, and when I got cut, and Bill O'Brien said in the meeting room, like, you can be like the next Matthew Slater kind of guy. Like, I see that in you. Feel like your focus should be on special teams. I didn't take that as an insult at all because I knew my route. Like, I remember when I was doing like the pre-draft stuff, I saw Christian Kirksey one day. He like special teams, special teams, special teams, and it was like everybody just kept harping and putting that in my head, and it was something that I knew I did in college, but I didn't necessarily emphasize it as much. But it all worked out.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's deep. Just listening to it is deep. First of all, where does that come from? That mentality, but also who do you do it for? Now continuously.
Yeah. Who I do it for? I definitely do it for this person on my chest each and every day. My everything. My mother. In December it'll be 10 years. Rest in peace, my angel. And I use it as a positive thing now because, it's my motivation. Keep me going. It's, this is the reason for my success. It's because of her. And, people, that's why I can't stop. Because I can never not make her proud. I can never not do the right thing. That's why I try to stay out the way. I try to stay out of trouble. Because I know this is what she wants me to do. For her. My son, feel like he a gift from her, really. 4 years old now, so full of energy. And I just want to, before I leave this earth, I want to make sure I put him in the best position possible to take over the generation of Hardees forever. And that's my goal. That's my plan, to set my family up, man. And just because I feel like, I'm not here for no reason. It's the reason why, this stuff is, happening for me. This, all these blessings keeps coming out of the, and, I just feel like, can't be, a waste. Gotta be something I'm taking advantage of. Gotta be something that, taken care of, man. Just because you only live once, and especially the people I do it for. Unfortunately, like I said, some can't be here, but that's why they're gonna always live through me. And some of the decisions I make, it's not always for me, but I feel like when I pray about it, I always keep God first. That's why I do what I do.
Now, the teachings, the love, the passion that your mom showed you, how much did you take from that, now and show and give to your son?
All of it, man. Just because I remember how she raised me. I remember, how I felt as a child, how I loved I felt, when she passed away, how, every memory she gave me, how everything, went in my head and, just raising me to be who I am today. So if I can raise my son like she raised me, I know I did one hell of a job. And so that's everything, like I said, take everything from her, all the love, all the care, man. And like I said, just showing me how to be a hell of a parent.
And then you even get to the point, in your career now, because now, probably a different upbringing than you had, from, growing up in, inner city of Cleveland to now, your son, I don't know where you lived in New Orleans, but, probably in, a decent area, nice area. Now he in the city, New York or Jersey, in a decent area, get to see his father, go play each and every Sunday, make the Pro Bowl. when those things happen, I'm over here getting chills talking about it. But I'm sure you, when you live in it,
You already know.
you know, when those things are happening, what like is that ever in the back of your mind, just like how proud like he is? Like, if he may be too young just to even say like,
Right.
Dad, I'm proud. Dad, you know, Dad, I love you. Like, I love coming to see your games and things like that. But is that ever just in the back of your mind, just, you know, his thoughts and his feelings on what you're doing?
Yeah, man. Honestly, all the time, really. Uh, like I said, because that's what I do it for, and he pushed me. You know, the day he was born was the day we lost the NFC Championship versus the Rams when I was with the Saints. So I just feel like that whole day was just like a blessing. Like he was just, you know, a blessing from God, and he really was sent on this earth, man, to push me to the next level. And thankful for him. He changed my life for the better, you know, and him pushing me and like him just being there. Like all he have to do is just be there. Like you said, man, coming from the inner city and, you know, being able to make it out of there, and, you know, for my son not to have to, you know, necessarily live through what I lived through, you know, is all a blessing, and he has no clue. You know what I'm saying? He has no clue right now, and but when he does find out, man, I know the moment will be special just because, like I said, I did it all for him.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, when you talk about he has no clue, I want to touch on, you know, the generational wealth that you're, you know, now trying to build. We can't pass up, you know, the 3 degrees from Illinois. Definitely want to touch on that. But then also, you know, segueing that into, you know, once you get to the league, you know, using older guys on your team, you know, for mentorship. I read like you talked to Malcolm Jenkins a lot, you know, about the Papa John's, you know, adventure and things like that. So kind of just, you know, touch on, first I want you to touch on just like, because 3 degrees is, you know, tough. It ain't everybody not go like 2. It's like if you do 5 years, like 2 is probably expected. But, you know, you got that third one, which is, you know, pretty rare. And then now to see where you are today, you know, owning some different franchises of Papa John's, you know, and being a leader in your community. Where, like, talk about that in general, I guess.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, if you had a good grade point average, CMSD would let you, like, it was like a program called High Tech Academy, and pretty much we would go to high school for half a day, college for half a day. I was able to take advantage of that. So when I went into college, I was already a sophomore pretty much after that first semester, or that first summer. I was able to take advantage of that, man, hit the ground running, was able to finish my communications degree, Bachelor of Communications degree in 2.5 years. After that, got accepted into grad school, did my sports management. After that, I remember I called Coach Ginn. I'm like, Coach G, I got 1 more year left ball, man. Should I just lock in on ball? Or should I go get that 3rd degree? He like, man, go ahead and get that 3rd degree. Knowing I was already going to lock in on ball. So after me, you know, getting that 3rd degree, I was like, wow, you know, I did it. You know, I still surprised to this day, you know what I'm saying? I think it's kind of, you know, I feel like I, you know, look at it lightly sometimes just because I did it just like that, you know, while having so much more going on that you just, you know, forget about the little things and the struggles. And, you know, it was definitely a struggle, but well worth it. And I remember it was after my first football season in the NFL, and, you know, you're getting so much money in so little time. And it's like, man, what am I going to do? It's like, all right, I'm not getting money from, you know, February to October or whatever. It's like, it's, you know, something is not cutting. I got 3 degrees. How am I not taking advantage of that, you know, doing anything? So I remember that first year, that was always the thought. Like, man, we got to get into something. Second year came around. I was having a Christmas event for the kids in New Orleans, in the inner city, West Bank of New Orleans. And to make a long story short, The Saints had got me like pizza delivered for the kids, and the guy who delivered the pizzas is my manager now. Him and my business manager ended up talking at that event. That event led to me having a Hardee Cares combo in New Orleans, the New Orleans area, to him saying, man, you should become a minority owner. Looked into it, read into it. This is when Shaq just got into it. So I was like, man, you know what? Boom. Took my leap of faith in that, redid my research, got approved for everybody. A year later, man, I had a franchise. And it's been a blessing, man, just because you really get to see, what it really feels like to be, a boss. And definitely costs to be the boss, I say that, but just having the experience of, business. It's different. It's not really what everybody thinks. They just think, you just, start a business and you get rich. Like that's, it's a lot of work put into it. But like I said, just me having the experience now, nobody has to tell me about it just because I'm going through it myself. And, you have good experiences and bad experiences, but, I'm grateful for my journey.
Mm-hmm. Now, during even just, the business adventures, what were there any trials? Because, you talk about, learning something new, because obviously it's like it's different than school, because in school it's like you take the courses, you read up on it, you study up on it, but it doesn't really necessarily translate to, life experience and, what you got to, do when an opportunity actually comes. So what were some trials that you could recall just from, when you first started, even just like first started looking at Papa John's to now, you own multiple of them now. So what were some trials that you saw that you, defeated, that you overcame to now it's just second nature to you?
Yeah. Well, I said the main one, I opened during the pandemic, so that was, crazy within itself the whole year. Everybody going through what they was going through. The whole world shut down, so that was crazy within itself. And just employees like me having to learn to deal with people. Now it's like it's different. I can't talk to you can't talk to anybody like that because now you looked at as the higher up. Not, and also while also still remaining where you come from, so you won't ever look at yourself in that height. Just because you have to stay humble, because God can take away from you just like that. So just having to deal with other people's situations within the workplace, all those, trial type of tribulations, and that's why you have to have a good team, man. If you don't have a good team around you, things may not go as well as you thought it would be, just because, that's really what you hear about, guys in my situation, man. They don't necessarily have the right team, and, that comes back and bite them in the butt.
Mm-hmm. Now, clearly the leadership that you've learned from, the business side of things also translated over to the field. And I say that because, your first year with the Jets, you become named team captain. And then also you named team captain this past year and things like that. So, now being, I guess, old head or a vet in the league and, also being respected by the coaches and the players in the league on your team too, kind of just, talk about that feeling. Because you look at to where it's like, dang, like as a kid, you probably like, yeah, I want to play in the league. Get to the league. It's like, all right, I want to start. I just want to make plays. But I feel like it got to be a different feeling when, your peers and your coaches and just the organization around you, like vote you as one of the captains.
Nah, it's an honor, man. I don't ever take any of that stuff lightly. Definitely comes within it, it comes with its own weight. Now you're gonna be looked at. Now you can't necessarily make the same mistake as the average guy, or not even saying the average guy, or another player, because nobody is average in the league. I won't disrespect any player, but just another player. Like you looked at it in a different light, just because you do have that C on your chest. So what I'm saying, me coming in late compared to somebody else coming in late, it's gonna be a whole different story just because I am a captain.
Mm-hmm.
So me being the captain and knowing that, and knowing I am around a younger team, knowing I just have to carry myself a certain way. I know, when it is time to be, vocal. I'm that type of guy, and luckily I am. Not afraid to talk in front of guys just because I'm a captain. It really, we had 3 captains this past season. So you know, me and my boy C that held it down, and it was good year, but not like I said the way we wanted our season end necessarily, but as far as just being in that light, just being respected. I remember before the Pro Bowl announcement, guys like, man, at least you got the respect, and I was like, yeah. But I wanted more than respect, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I am glad I did get that, that Pro Bowl announcement. But then, like I said, there's something else left off. So, it's a good thing to get that respect, man. And it's a good thing to, be considered amongst the best. But, it ain't nothing like being the best, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talk about that respect a bunch just throughout this conversation. And, subconsciously, that is why we put the work in, why we, go as hard as we do, because you don't really, I guess you don't really think about it until someone says something negative about your play, to where it's like, dang, like that really, it only hurt me because of how much work I really put in, how much they don't see and things like that. And then you talk about, at the end of the season, or you just see in the beginning of the season, having respect from your peers, and then at the end of the season, having the respect from the entire league, making a Pro Bowl. I want to touch on just that word, because a lot of just what we do, a lot of how hard we go, is because of earning the respect. And so I just want you to kind of just touch on that point, to where it's like, even when you first got into the league, was earning the respect like the first thing that you had thought of, or was it just like, man, let me just go have fun, like let me just run around out here, see what I can make happen? Or is it always just been like, yo, I'm ready, when I get on this field, I'm here to take out whoever, because I want my respect from the rest of the team?
Yeah. So when I first got to the league, man, I honestly did. I wanted my teammates respect. Like, I really did. I wanted them to look at me and be like, man, he be working his ass off. Like, he really can help us. Like, I wanted them to, feel that way about me. And, in Houston, I, was there for a few months, so I did get cut. I remember I was in New Orleans, and my boy Mark Ingram, he was always a crunk, man. We was about to play against Green Bay. He like, man, I pray for teammates like you. Man, and that meant the world to me, just because I'm like, man, I'm undrafted, like 5th or 6th game in the league. And I was like, wow. Mark Ingram saying that to me, you know what I'm saying? And all I was just saying was like, man, just the energy I bring, just not being scared, just being a dog, really, and having fun with it. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, Mark Ingram, my boy, man, just like I said, just having the respect of my teammates, because I was a part of a team where Marshawn was there and Ted Ginn Jr. was there, and we all went to the same school, so it was like I had to make a name for myself. You know what I'm saying? And once I proved to them that I was just all about winning, having fun, and I could help the team. It was that, man. It was all respect, all love. And then at the end of that season, I remember we played against Carolina. That my rookie season in the playoffs, that wild card game, and James Bradbury came up to me and was like, man, you could be a Pro Bowler. Like, in that moment, it was like a switch in my head. And then that next season, I came out hungry as ever. I felt like one of the best seasons, definitely my second best season I've had. And I felt like that was something that I should have gotten, but, obviously God had different plans, and, that pushed me from there on out to, get the Pro Bowl, and to, get the respect, and, just over time, man, it really just like a better late than never case scenario, man. And I'm glad it it finally did happen. But earning the respect of my teammates was first, earning the respect of the league with the players in the league second, and then getting my accolade.
Mm-hmm. Now being one of the best gunners in the league, and for people who don't know what a gunner is like on special teams when the team punt, he's the wide out guy who basically goes and forces fair catch or make the tackle. But is it now that a Pro Bowler or not even just before this season? Is it disrespect if someone puts a single vice out there against you?
I think so, but as the coaches may feel that guy can get the job done, but if they want to try, go ahead. I love it. Give me a single if you want to.
Because that was one big thing that I saw that was different from college to NFL, and immediately right when camp start, it's like offense, defense a little slow. You learning things like that, but special teams, it's bullets flying. Like it's you sprint, it's full go, max on the GPS, everything like that. So you came in early too with Marshawn Lattimore, corner for the Saints, and also now Sauce Gardner coming in for the Jets. Two highly drafted corners. I think both of them top 10 for sure. Did you see any similarities like from Marshawn's like first days to or even first season to seeing Sauce go through his first season?
Yeah, definitely in different ways. I got with Marshawn, like right after camp, I got with Marshawn because I was with Houston. Then Houston cut me, then New Orleans picked me up. And I remember being around him, and, it was like a few games in, I was like, okay, yeah, bro, different. Then he got an interception to the house versus Detroit. I'm like, oh, yeah. Then he was playing against Julio and strapping Julio. I'm like, oh, man, like, we got something special here. This year with Sauce, I was able to see Sauce, his first OTA days and, all that stuff. And I was just, you just watch it. Just take the eye test. You don't say nothing because everybody asking, man, how's Sauce going? How's Sauce? So I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay, he actually can move. Probably a little taller than me and can move like that. I'm like, oh, yeah, he nice. And then once we got the action and, they always trying. He held it down. Like, even that first OTAs, he held it down. And, when you got to camp, it wasn't nothing else different, And then once you got to the game, we held it down. Like, they literally used to try that, man. And he got my respect. And I definitely seen similarities. And I remember I used to tell guys, like, man, I was around Marshawn as a rookie. And, I was like, I used to tell him, bro, like, you better get Defensive Rookie of the Year. And this is, of course, everybody may say they said it, before the season, but I was like a real, goal. I really sat out for him just because, like, I seen it. I was around it. And, even for Garrett Wilson to get Offensive Rookie of the Year and, me to be around him and AK, Marshawn and AK for rookies. And then, those two for rookies was like I seen it. Gary Wilson was special. I remember when we was in OTAs and he caught like a slant and he hit a step back and it was so crazy. and I was like, that's different. Like, you don't necessarily see that. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Use the guys, catch the ball, get upfield, just get as much as you can. He had some sauce with it, bro. And, like, not everybody do got sauce with it. And respect to both of them young guys, man. I can't wait to see what their future shape out to be, man. I hope it be just as special as their rookie year was, but even special.
Mm-hmm. And now, for you, for the Jets, what's next? Because obviously you coming off, one of probably your best year as far as like accolades and things like that, and then the Jets, great talent on the team. Now just got to figure out ways to piece things together to get to the playoffs, to get to the Super Bowl. What are some things that maybe leaving the building what's it called, the exit meeting. What were some things that probably was said throughout the building that just like lit a fire under you, or just maybe other guys that'll get them hungry coming back for this next year?
Man, that losing streak that we went out on, you know what I'm saying? Like that was a terrible feeling. Like we was literally the controller of our own destiny. Like we was on a high start, man, and we had everything in our hands, everything in front of us that we wanted, and we went on a losing streak. That just really left a sour taste in my mouth. And watching this past Super Bowl, man, knowing that like these guys, like we can compete, we can beat them guys, man. Like we're a piece away, we're a piece or two away. And I hope they, hope we do go get the right pieces that we do need, man. Because I'm tired of watching in February and January. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't put that much work in just to go and party. Like I want to embrace it and have something I can live on forever with it, man. And like I said, I don't play this game just to play it. I play it to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like even I knew my first year with the Jets was a rebuild year. Even that year, man, I didn't play it just to play. I was still playing to win the Super Bowl. That's just the type of competitor I am. So pray that we, like I said, we do make the necessary changes that we do need to make. We go get the people that we need, and it all work out. I just pray it all work out.
Mm-hmm.
You can go get anybody you want, but if it don't work out, then we back at square one. I just pray it all do work out. We go get the right guy for us, man, and we have fun this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've been fortunate enough to play for, two great fan bases. You look at New Orleans Saints. I went to my first Saints game this past year. It was a Monday night game. It was rocking. I'm talking about from as a fan perspective, you out there in like the little courtyard, they dancing, they got the live concert going. It was crazy. But now you get to the New York fan base. You got guys like Gary V intensely watching the Jets. You got other people intensely.
That's my guy, Gary V.
Okay, yeah, you intensely watching the Jets and things like that. Any difference between the fan base to where maybe you like one more, or maybe they just the attitude, or maybe just the experience at the game day? What's been the difference so far?
I definitely got crazy love for New Orleans, man. Just because I feel like they took me in. They took me in as one of their own. You know what I'm saying? When I was considered a nobody, like they, I made some plays for them, man, and now like we family forever. So crazy love for them. And I remember when I did sign in New York, I felt like the New York fans realized that they were going to love me just because of the way that, New Orleans was, how sad they was. And it wasn't like a signing to where they was New Orleans sad, like, man, we're going to miss you. And it was all love. And, to the New York fan base, man, I love them. I remember complaining about, my Pro Bowl votes and, and all it took was a tweet. You know what I'm saying? And that tweet helped me lead the, fan voting. And, of course, I had to get voted in by the players and the coaches with the Pro Bowl because I actually won all three case scenarios. Like, I won the fan vote, the player vote, and the coach's vote. So, man, the New York fans, man, and the crazy thing is, like, you just be surprised how many New York fans it is all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it did, I believe, I forgot exactly which city. It was in Long Island. So, a lot of, actually people from New York, us and the Giants play in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get that out there. But, like, I was just, like, even just walk, you can be in a different city or a different state, and you be like, man, you meet somebody in there, like, I'd be surprised, like, how much people do remember me, and I'd be like, man, I'm just a special teamer, but they'd be like, man, you play for New York Jets, man, like, and, like, it's just respect, and it's all love, man, so definitely, I wouldn't choose between neither, because I definitely got equal love for them both, I feel like both of them took me in and embraced me as their own, and, have both showed me nothing but love.
What's one memorable moment from your time with the Jets so far?
My one memorable moment, a moment I won't ever forget, it was actually like not too far from here. downtown in my hometown in Cleveland, Ohio. I believe it was September 18th, something like that, or around then. And we were down by 7, and it was special team time, and my boy Will Park, shout out to Will. He's like, man, Hardee, I'm about to go smack his ass. Go get the ball. Like, those are literally his words. Like, I'm about to go hit him. Go get the ball. Kick the ball, man. And it was just crazy how it all worked out. Because after the fact, I didn't necessarily see him even hit him. All I seen was the ball just come free. And, everybody was celebrating him, and they were celebrating him because he hit it. Because, like I said, once I seen it. So, moment, man, that was definitely my best moment, as a Jet, just because we got to win. That was a crazy win. It was a win that I know my city won't ever forget, and just for me to be a hometown kid and, for me to have that moment. I remember when, Cesar Shorts caught a game-winning touchdown pass on the Brown back years ago. And, so just for me to have my moment, and, special teams guys rarely have their moments. I made a dude fumble on a punt that I got a tackle on, but the Browns guy recovered it, but nobody ever even talks about it or even notices it because we didn't even get the ball back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I was like, man, that was my moment, man. Like, if we had got that, man, we'd get back and score. But it didn't happen that way. It didn't count. I even tried to get my statistic. They didn't give it to me. But for me to, get that onside recovery kick, man, was everything. Because when I seen my family after, like, we just laughed and, and we just, like, they just loved on me just because they, like, it was a moment for all of them, just because, they had Jet stuff on and, a stadium full of Browns fans. And, it's all love. So once all the Browns fans realized that I was from Cleveland, people weren't as mad, but they give me stuff every time they see me nowadays.
For sure, they got to. Especially, in Cleveland, they die hard. So, and that was just a wild game in general.
Yeah, that was.
Like, that was that whole scene. Like, you couldn't even picture. You couldn't even script that. Like, even though the NFL is scripted, according to some people, but I don't think they could have scripted that one. That one was definitely crazy. That was wild for sure. But no, lastly, definitely want to touch on coming in. This is year 6. Year 7. Obviously, probably started. You already done planned. You got the the franchises and things like that. You work in the community with your foundation. But what are some things that you do now in this off season outside of the business adventures, maybe any community service or anything like that people can tap into or support or donate or anything like that?
So I'm real big on like sarcoidosis awareness. That's what my mom passed away from. So that's something that I've been donating to for the past few years, and they got a walk coming up. And it's not in the state. I believe they do it in Dallas, Texas. But something that I'm very passionate about, just because just helping others, doing that. Just like I said, man, it's something that I got passion for, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I have passion for the youth. I'm always giving back to the youth. Whenever I can, I just donate it to some kids in Newark for schools and stuff. And it's it's rough, just like here this past Christmas. I didn't put it on social media or anything like that. It really just came from the heart. Bought a bunch of toys for kids who couldn't necessarily get them themselves. And, I guess, and now in today's era, if you don't necessarily record it didn't happen.
Mm.
It was, by me getting, they send me some letters, like some little cards and Christmas cards. Man, that made my day. Like, I could have cried seeing that just because, just those moments. So, I got a camp coming up this year. You know, like a youth sports camp, and you know, I definitely want kids to come tap in, man, and you know, come be a part of something special. This will be my first camp since me being a Pro Bowler, NFL PAR Pro guy. So it's gonna be special, man. And like I said, I'm gonna always continue to give back to the community just because I was a long shot for making the league. I'm fortunate enough to be going into year 7, but I always told myself if I was to make it, I'm gonna give back, and I'm just glad I kept my word.
Mm-hmm. And now, where's the camp? Is it going to be in Cleveland or is it going to be in New York?
Yeah, it's going to be in Cleveland. It's more than likely going to be at Case Western Reserve University down there in inner city Cleveland, but it's at the college campus, so it's going to be a great event, man. I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, I'm moving a little to New York this summer, like Williamsburg area, just for a little bit, just for the summer months. Just for like networking purposes and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, if you out there though, I'm gonna definitely have to tap in with you. Because New York is different.
It's different, bro.
It's different.
It's the Big Rich sound for real. What they say on the Power Show. Like, it's really like that, and you know, it ain't. You're not just the average person, not just coming to New York and just doing what they want to do. Like, you really have to know somebody.
Right.
Like, it's crazy. Like, it's New York, man, and like, even when people be talking, and I'd be like, man, you just gotta sometimes see it to believe it.
Yeah, one thing I like doing most in New York is, like, I have low-key no plans. Just get up and go out and just start walking.
And that's really all you have to do, and you will see so much.
Mm-hmm.
You will see so much just walking, like, down the street. If you're in Manhattan, man, and just walking around, there's, like, shops that you really just read about, and, you know, like, stores you read about, they actually got them in the streets in New York, so.
No, well, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I know we've been planning this for a little bit. We finally was able to, get it done. And this is, part of a series that I've been doing. It's just called Local Legends. And so I involve people, who obviously known in the city, who give back to the city, whether it just, be through business, whether it be through athletics, whether it be through entertainment, anything. You're a legend, within the city. You're a legend to me. We had some of your guys like Ted on, hoping to get Braxton on, Isaiah Pede on. So just some like local, obviously well-known name guys. But at the end of the day, my whole goal is just to share stories because the NFL can only share so much. Instagram, social media can only share so much. So I definitely want to take advantage of just relationships and being able just to voice or just to allow people to hear your voice, and maybe you touch a listener today, who knows, and maybe this gets shared to somebody looking up to you, or maybe even one day when your son is 10, 11 or 12 or something, he played his back and he listened to it, and now he come up to you and be like, Dad, like, I understand, I see what you did. But I appreciate you. This episode is sponsored by Wet Hydration. Make sure y'all go check it out. Great drink. You could get 20% off if you use Varsity House 20 as a code. Justin, you tasted it. How'd you like it?
I like it, man. I appreciate it. Definitely want to say I appreciate you. Like you said, man, I know we've been just playing tag, trying to get this going on, man. But I'm glad we was able to do it. I was looking forward to it. Once you asked me, I already knew I was gonna do it. I'm glad, I'm proud of you, bro. See you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? You recognizing people, you giving people their flowers, man. You never know how you make other people feel doing this, bro. I truly appreciate you. I wish you nothing but luck, dog. I'm always in your corner, man. You know what I'm saying? And keep doing your thing, bro.
Appreciate it. And we definitely got to get Ville to play Eds again. They took us off the schedule. So we got to get that matchup going again.
Legendary matchup, man. Legendary.